You're listening to Short Inspirations from Ralph. Bitter or Better, Part 4. We've been talking about Hannah in the Bible who couldn't have children, and she was in a very dark place in her life. She was suffering, there was bitterness there, so much so that she never even looked at or could receive the love of her husband. Her world and the future was bleak. But not only did she overcome the bitterness of her soul, but she ended up conceiving and having one of the most significant of all Bible characters, Samuel. So something which was incredibly negative in her life became positive. She became an overcomer. She went to God, and then she dedicated the whole of her child Samuel's life to the Lord for the rest of his days. What we're saying here is that there was a much greater purpose behind everything that she went through. And so we've got to ask the question, what is God's purpose behind your and my problems? Well, firstly, God uses problems to direct you. And sometimes God lights a fire under us to get us moving. Problems often point us in a new direction and motivate us to change. So is God trying to get your attention? It's not that problems come from Him, but they can be used for returning or turning our face to God. Proverbs 20 verse 30 says, sometimes it takes a painful situation to make us change our ways. Number 2, God uses problems to inspect you. So firstly, to direct you. Secondly, to inspect you. What does that mean? Well, if you think of people being a bit like tea bags, if you want to know what's inside them, just drop them into hot water. So has God ever tested your faith with a problem? What do problems reveal about you? In James 1 verse 2 to 3 it says, when you have many kinds of troubles, you should be full of joy, because you know that these troubles test your faith, and this will give you patience. Norman Vincent Peale said this, a problem is a concentrated opportunity. The only people I've ever known to have no problems are in the cemetery. The more problems you have, the more alive you are. Every problem contains the seeds of its own solution. I often say, he says, when the Lord wants to give you the greatest value in this world, He doesn't wrap it in a sophisticated package and hand it to you on a silver platter. He is too subtle, too adroit for that. He takes this big value and buries it at the heart of a big tough problem. How He must watch with delight when you've got what it takes to break that problem apart and find at its heart what the Bible calls the pearl of great price. Everybody I've ever known who succeeded in a big way in life has done so by breaking problems apart and finding the value that was there. That's an incredible statement. And talking about incredible, here's a great example. In 1910, the boll weevil wiped out the cotton crop in the south of the United States, forcing southern farmers to diversify by planting peanuts and other new crops. The change brought prosperity to the region. Growers in Enterprise, Alabama, were so grateful to the destructive beetle for ending their one-crop dependency that they eventually erected a monument to him in their town square in 1919. Time has a way of putting things into the right perspective, because soon the farmers' profits far exceeded what they had earned from their best cotton yield. In the end, they realized that the destructive insect they had feared had actually triggered the research that brought them prosperity. The Lord often allows trials to unsettle our lives for a blessed purpose. Perhaps we are trying to grow cotton when we should be raising peanuts. If so, the delays and disappointments we experience are just the gracious boll weevils sent to redirect us so that we will plant the crop of God's choosing. God bless you.